getting closer and closer to WrestleMania now. What's the excitement level right now as we get closer to back second straight WrestleMania in Las Vegas?
Well, I think anytime you got WrestleMania, that's kind of our Super Bowl, or I guess you could say the Super Bowl is their WrestleMania. But there's a lot of uncertainty at this time with a lot of things, which I think adds to a little bit of the excitement, just for the fact that anything can happen. And yeah, when you're talking about 2 years in a row in Las Vegas, that means that if you did one year and it was good, and you're doing the second year, we got to outdo the year before. So we'll see what that brings. And in the next, I guess we got a month and some change before we get there. So plenty of time for this to build.
And you kind of talked about it just 2 years in a row. What makes Las Vegas and WrestleMania such a great tag team?
Well, it's crazy because I mean, you think about the fact that WrestleMania hadn't been in Vegas since '93 before last year, WrestleMania 9, and so to finally make it back there and to get to do that, for me personally, I love it. For all the years that I lived in LA, Vegas was almost like that was a regular haunt for me because what little 4 hour drive over to Vegas, so that was hit on a regular basis. So to get to go back there and do it this way and be at Allegiant Stadium and in front of the world, man, there's nothing like it. You get a little mix of that, plus you get to see some old friends, and maybe jump around the city, have a little fun here and there, and it's all around a good time.
Awesome, awesome. Obviously, we can't wait either. But before you get to the two-night spectacle that WrestleMania is now, there's the Hall of Fame ceremony, right? What makes that night so special for you guys?
Well, geez, I mean, you're talking about anybody who's anybody of any real stature, has a chance of going to that Hall of Fame. So, I mean, a lot of us who are here currently kind of look at that as, a potential of, is this something in my future? But even in that regard, we're looking at people that maybe we saw when we were growing up, or even perhaps contemporaries. You look at like an AJ Styles, and so you're like, okay, well, in that sense, you want to pay your respects, and it's kind of cool. Just the fact that, and let alone AJ, because obviously he's been here more recently. But think about the people who haven't been in there in a long time. Demolition just recently announced, long overdue, I'd say, for them to go in. But you're looking at guys who haven't had the spotlight in a long time, and now they get to come in and they kind of get to speak their piece to their career and make their voices heard as far as their thoughts and feelings about their run, and that's just kind of a cool opportunity for everybody to, I guess, get that last hurrah, and also then cement their names in the history of the business.
Kind of talked about AJ right there as well. Obviously, you got to have a bit of a feud with him a couple years ago. What was it like working with AJ?
AJ's intense, man. AJ's super intense. When you get to know him, super nice guy though too. So all around, don't have a bad thing to say about him. Of course, we got into some pretty physical and times fun altercations. So all good on my end. We definitely we kind of took the piss out of each other a few different times. And if you look at that time when we actually got in the fight there at that press gaggle, we both took our shots. He slammed me pretty hard on the floor, and if you notice, he left with a bloody nose. So I mean, we weren't afraid to mix it up in there. We weren't afraid to take our shots. And I like that, and I like the intensity that he brings. I'm sure that he probably appreciates what I was bringing to that. But AJ, you talk about a guy deserving, understatement.
And for people that maybe have never gone to a Hall of Fame or never watched it, what would people get out of getting to experience that ceremony?
Man, that's such a personal answer. It's tough to answer for everybody. It's blank. I can't give a blanket response for everybody because everybody's different. Everybody's going for a different reason. Naturally, whoever the headliner is, a lot of people are gonna, make sure to go out of their way to see that. But at the same time, I mean, you even look at the women and the men underneath that who are going to open up the show and have their inductions and whatnot. There's plenty of people who are interested, and maybe people who didn't even know they were interested, who finally hear their stories and go, "Oh my God, okay." And there's something inspiring to take away from that. or maybe even something entertaining. I can remember plenty of entertaining speeches. Mr. T comes to mind, amongst some others. And so just that, I mean, you're going to get some entertainment. There's probably going to be some laughs, maybe some tears, maybe all that stuff. And I think if nothing else, a lot of people can take away perhaps hopefully some inspiration.
Absolutely. Obviously, another person that you had a bit of a feud with was Bray Wyatt. What was it like to be a part of his final feud with the company?
Well, look, you know, when I'm considering the idea that I'm dealing with this guy who kind of does these supernatural kind of things, I'm thinking that's an odd fit, and something that maybe I wouldn't ordinarily think that I'm too keen on. But it really kind of went together, kind of peanut butter and jelly in my mind, where it was kind of like I could take parts of him and expose them in certain ways, and he could take parts of me and expose them in certain ways to where it worked so well. And say what you want about the match, a little bit gimmicky, and I know everybody's going to point that out, but I think the buildup that we had going into that match really was the cake. The match itself was kind of the icing, and whether you like the taste of that icing or not is another story. But I think the cake underneath it was delicious, regardless. And with that being the case, it was such a unique experience. Just again, you've got the challenge of this very unique character, but then also it was my first real foray on the SmackDown television, on a WWE television, on that main roster scale, where it's like, okay, well, I'm going to make my mark here, while at the same time serving this return to Bray, and it was a hell of an experience, and I'd have to credit that with putting me on the map at this point.
Obviously, you've been involved in a lot of great matches in the main event picture, but you've had such a interesting journey to get here. Did you ever think like this was a possibility? Were you always this confident in yourself?
What was a possibility? Being
Uh,
WWE?
So being WWE and being in the main event picture that you are now?
Well, I mean, I don't know if I can speak to whether I thought it was a possibility or not, but that was always what I was aiming at. Like for me, I guess you could say at different times, maybe that had changed in a way. Like, I mean, if we really want to, without getting too deep into the weeds, you look at basically my entire trajectory, my entire aim for my career was shoot for the top. Like there's no point in shooting for anything else. So, I can't really say that I expected, especially after so long of being told no, no, no. But man, you can't kill what won't die. And I just wouldn't die and I wouldn't go away. And eventually I was able to assert my will, so to speak, and come in and do this. But yeah, I think there were definitely times, especially when you look at the pandemic, and other different twists and turns throughout my career on the outside, of just thinking like, man, okay, well, this might be the end of the road. But I guess at least if I could get in there and, maybe I can help the younger guys, and it'd be cool just to, but once you get in, and then I started getting a foothold, and then things started taking off, I didn't know how to not start looking at the top again. And I told somebody this before, it's been in an interview before, but I had sent an email. I'm going to say this was probably the end of 2022, if not maybe the very beginning of 2023, where I just said, at some point, I'm going to want the ball. And that might, to you, that might sound ridiculous because who am I? I just came up here. But that's why I'm here.
Another kind of thing that is interesting to me is that maybe some people still remember, some people might forget, but you're actually storyline related to Maxine Dupri. How proud of you are you of Maxine?
She's come a long way, because I mean, in all honesty, and this is no fault of her own, when she was first brought up, if we're just being 100%, she was not ready. And I think she would admit that 100%. And again, that's not her fault. And she kind of just got thrown to the wolves. And she's done well. Of course, it hasn't been perfect, but it never is. Nobody can be perfect. I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. Everybody has their mess ups. But when you're talking about somebody coming in completely unprepared, and in this amount of time, being able to get the fan support, And then beyond that, what now? She's already been an Intercontinental Champion at this point. I'd say that's a pretty major come up. So good for her.
Obviously, you're in the storyline right now. It was heated against the Vision. First off, where did you take Paul Heyman?
Well, I tell you what, you got to tune in next week to find out. So I all I'll tell you is he's getting all the help he needs. He's getting proper care. So, but that was that. Man, I don't know if you could tell how fast I was driving that damn ambulance out of there. As soon as I knew I had him in that thing, I floored that bitch. It was sorry, I'm swearing over here, but no, it was a good one.
That's awesome. And what I guess how excited are you to be a part of that storyline as you kind of get closer to WrestleMania? Obviously, there's still things have to be played out, but what's the excitement for you as you head into WrestleMania?
Well, I don't even know if I can call it excitement at this point. Like, I mean, we've been doing it for a while, and you could almost argue, well, man, when's this going to end? But my argument to that would be it's going to end when they end, because if you look at everything that's happened, and again, talking about putting me through the car, and really the main person who did that was, well, the two main people were Logan Paul and Bronson Reed, and with all the licks that I've gotten on Logan Paul. I ain't got enough now since he helped to put that whole thing together. But of course, you got Bronson Reed taking himself out of the equation. You got Braun taking him out of the. There's a whole Vision curse. So as far as I'm concerned, if that curse can just hit the other two, then we'll be all done. But I want that curse to be LA Knight.
Awesome. And before I let you go, just one more question. Um, what can people expect from LA Knight at WrestleMania?
I'm gonna tell you this: I don't even know what to expect from me at WrestleMania because I have no idea where my direction is, what I'm doing yet. And in a lot of ways, that's the most dangerous position in the best way. So, what you can expect from me is if you're going to see me on any show, whether it's WrestleMania or anywhere, I'm going to do my damnedest to make sure that if it's your first time ever seeing me, you get your money's worth. If it's your first time ever seeing me, you remember me. If it's your first time ever seeing me, you come away with something where you're like, oh my God, remember when he said this? Remember when he did that? And the bottom line is, I'm going to leave you walking away from that place saying, L.A. Knight. Yeah.